Adam Lanza.
Police say he killed his mother first at their home in Newtown, and then he went to the school he attended and where his mom worked and committed mass murder. Then he killed himself. We've just received this picture of the man identified as the shooter, Adam Lanza. This photo's from 2005. We're going to begin in Newtown, where the game of Scrabble was invented, but where tonight the words are sorrow and sadness. Marcus Solis begins our coverage. He's been there all day. Marcus?
And Bill, the words of the governor, evil visited this community today. A murderous spree that began even before the suspect, Adam Lanza, arrived here at the school, killing his mother at the family's home and then unleashing a rampage in that school that left 20 children dead and hundreds of others terrified.
Sandy Hook School. Callers indicating she thinks there's someone shooting in the building. The front glass has been broken out of the school. They're unsure why.
Police radio transmissions indicate the seriousness of the situation, but not the scope of the horror that would unfold.
Okay, these units in the school, I got bodies here. Let's get ambulance.
Just after 9:30 this morning, Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown became a killing field, the site of the second worst mass school shooting in history. 26 people murdered, 20 of them kids between the ages of 5 and 10. A staggering loss of life made worse by the fact the majority of the victims were innocent children.
Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own.
State and local police swarmed the school, which was immediately put on lockdown. Students described sitting in darkened rooms that were locked by teachers. Eventually, the children were evacuated from the school to a firehouse next door.
We're evacuating people, so we ran out. There's police about at every door. They're leading us down this way, quick, come on.
Police identify the gunman as 20-year-old Adam Lanza, who was also killed. His mother is a teacher at the school and among the dead. The carnage devastating the close-knit community, which is struggling to understand why someone would do the unthinkable.
What a horrible thing to happen right at Christmas. Those poor little kids looking forward to Santa Claus, and I just can't figure out what is going on with the world.
Totally devastated community coming together now at this hour. A number of prayer vigils taking place. Meantime, the work continues at the school. The investigation continuing, processing. Police say what is a difficult and horrific scene. The medical examiner's office is on hand at the school as they try and remove the victims from the school. But the processing of this scene will take days. We're live in Newtown. Marcus Solis, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Marcus, thank you. And we're going to go to the scene of one of those vigils that Marcus was talking about. Matt Kozar is there. He is at United Methodist Church in Newtown. Matt, set the scene for us there.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, Sade, at this small New England church, no place to sit, no place to stand. St. Rosa of Lima Catholic Church is a parish of about 3,500 families, but tonight it feels like the entire town is packed into the church. And we have some video we want to show you. Getting into the church was a challenge as the lines spilled out of the front doors. Parents who brought their kids holding hands, giving them messages of hope. We had the opportunity to speak to one member of the parish. Her name is Gabby Tejada. She's been living here for the last 10 years, and she says she came to comfort those who need help. What are people saying in town?
I think people are just mostly in shock at this point. They don't really know what to say. Parents are afraid, I think, because it's just a terrible thing. You never imagine it would happen. It's like your worst nightmare type thing for a parent. I know friends of mine that are still at school who have family here are texting me, calling me, like, they want to know if I'm okay. I'm like, I'm fine.
Now, this is one of several vigils happening tonight, but by far it is the largest. And I just want to step out of the way and show you what's happening behind me. A crowd of thousands of people. Of course, they will not all make it into the church, so we will see what will happen. Likely people holding candles, saying prayers together. A very emotional scene here at St. Rosa. Live in Newtown, Connecticut, Matt Kozar, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
People clearly seeking comfort in the sense of community and a collective grief that is clearly shared there at the United Methodist Church in Newtown. Matt, we're going to come back to you a little later. Keep us posted on what the scene is. And you saw a lot of kids there, too,
so
not
many
just
kids.
adults, not just adults. The sense of community and coming together in their grief. Flags lowered across the country as ordered by President Obama, and also in the states of New Jersey, where some of the investigation is. Governor Cuomo ordering flags at half-staff in New York, and also in Connecticut, where Governor Daniel Malloy spoke earlier and had the line of the night and expressed what so many people have felt, that evil visited this community. Here's what he had to say.
As you know, there are a number of victims, teachers, support personnel in the building, and children, beautiful, beautiful children who had simply come to school to learn, and their day ended a very different way than any of us could possibly have imagined. And quite frankly, as we stand here today, still can't imagine what transpired there. Evil visited this community today, and it's too early to speak of recovery, but each parent, each sibling, each member of the family has to understand that Connecticut, we're all in this together. We'll do whatever we can to overcome this event. We will get through it, but this is a terrible time for this community and for these families. Our police personnel and others are doing the utmost to clear this situation as soon as possible and to return these children to their parents or these loved ones to their fellow loved ones as quickly as possible. And we'll work with all of the residents of this community and Connecticut to make sure that we do in fact get through this. I was mayor of Stamford on 9/11 when our state lost many of its citizens, and I lost a number of my fellow citizens and friends. I never thought that in a public career that I would have to face these kinds of circumstances, or that they would visit themselves upon this community or the people of Connecticut. We'll get through this, and our prayers at this time have to go out to the families. And so as I began by thanking those who have expressed their desires to be helpful, the number one way to be helpful is to say a prayer or send a best wish, or to be thinking of these individuals who have suffered so mightily today. Thank you.
Governor Dan Malloy from Connecticut earlier today.
And they're going to need a lot of prayers, that is for sure. Let's go to Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan, who is in Newtown. And Jim, you've been talking with a lot of people there who have been shocked in the community about what happened. When last time we spoke, we were talking about some of the heroes in all of this, all of the teachers who were able to get these kids to safety. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, Sade, you know, everywhere you look here, what you see is people absolutely, and I mean literally here, just shaking their heads in disbelief, unable to understand how anyone could do such a thing, how anyone could do anything like this in this community or anywhere else. As the day has unfolded, we've gotten more information about what happened, but there is no greater understanding of what happened, and I'm sure that is still a long way off. You know, parents were called to the firehouse here today to learn the fate of their children. You know, some didn't know what happened to their children until they arrived here, and for some, the news was unimaginably grim, horrifying, as couples clung to one another, unable to cope alone with what they were learning here. But of course, for others, they were reunited with their children, parents and children, with horror stories.
Very scared.
Can you tell me what it was like, and what did you hear anything? What was going on?
I heard lots of booms, and then I heard yelling and put your hands up, don't shoot. We heard lots of scary stuff.
As it got to the point we knew it was Sandy Hook and that the shooter was in the school, it became an ultimate nightmare. It was absolutely terrifying. The not knowing what was going on, not being able to get here was really, really heart pumping, and it was tough.
In homes all around this region tonight, parents and children like those two you just saw are having to have conversations about what they couldn't have even imagined 24 hours ago. And they both, parents and children, have awful stories that they have to recount and get over and get through. And that is the legacy of this day. Reporting live from Newtown, Jim Dolan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Jim, there's no question. A quick question for you. We're going to talk, by the way, and have some advice for parents who have to deal with their kids about this a little later. But Jim, I know you've gotten emails. We've got a lot of comments on our Facebook pages and on Twitter about not interviewing kids, but they were in fact, and it's a conundrum for us, but they were in fact the first witnesses on the scene. You talked to some of them. I know you had mixed feelings about that.
Well, we did. We want to make clear that we always ask the parents first, and we wouldn't talk to a child who was alone. We wouldn't talk to a child who, from whom we did not get their parents' permission to speak. So, yeah, it's a difficult choice, and in private homes, those people are going to have much deeper conversations about what happened. But the police are going to have to talk to children as well as parents and psychologists. They are going to go over this over the next several days. And again, we wouldn't talk to a child unless their parents said it was all right. And the kids we spoke with really got through this extremely well and were able, well, you could hear, they were able to tell these stories very clearly.
Okay. Jim Dolan in Newtown, Connecticut for us. Jim, we'll see you a little later tonight. Thank you.
You know, we've been talking about the heroes that have emerged out of this tragedy, and those heroes are some of the teachers ushering the students away from the gunman. Diane Sawyers talked with one teacher at Sandy Hook Elementary who kept her students safe as the gunman was on the loose. Let's take a listen.
My students on top of the toilet dispenser. I just knew we had to get in there. I was just telling them it's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. I had pulled a bookshelf before I closed the door in front of it. So it was we were completely barricaded in. I turned the lights off.
Did you tell them to be quiet? Did you worry about one of them?
No, I told them to be quiet. I told them we had to be absolutely quiet because I was just so afraid that if he did come in and then he would hear us and then he would maybe just start shooting the door. So I said, no, we just have to be absolutely quiet. And I said, there are bad guys out there now. We need to wait for the good guys. They're coming again. I wanted us to be okay. And I'm so saddened that there are people who in this situation are not okay. And my heart goes out to anyone who knew them and was a part of their lives. I just can't imagine.
Did they cry?
No, if they started crying, I would take their face and say, it's gonna be okay. Show me your smile. I really tried to and one of my students was, would say things like, I know karate, so it's okay. I'll lead the way out.
They really said to you, we want to go home for Christmas.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or I just want to hug my mom, or just, things like that were just heartbreaking, and in my mind, because you're hearing, I've never been a part of something, obviously, anywhere near this traumatic. And so I'm hearing the gunfire in the hallway, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm the first classroom. Why isn't he coming? I'm thinking we're next. And, and in my mind, I'm thinking, as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, what are your thoughts? What are your, and I'm thinking that I have to almost be their parent. I have to tell them, So I said to them, I need you to know that I love you all very much and that it's going to be okay, because I thought that was the last thing they were ever going to hear. I thought we were all going to die. And I don't know if that's okay, teachers and, but I wanted them to know someone loved them, and I wanted that to be one of the last things they heard. Not the gunfire in the hallway. It's just so horrible. So horrible.